What's up, guys? We are back here for day 7 Golf Grand Prix. So let me show you this real quick. Tour Pro. Definitely strongly encourage guys to play up. Let's look at the reward structure. Some of the best balls in the game here being given away. You got the Pro DX, and you also have the A flights. If you play down in Pro, you're going to see that the balls are not nearly as rewarding. However, everything else kind of plays the same. You get kind of a step down in pins, step down in balls. So playing up is going to be your best bet for these. And we're going to be playing day 7 at Rand Park, as you guys can see here. Let me show you guys where we're at. I'm going to get my grid on real quick. Let's go into the bag setup. And I'm just going to show you this parallel here. Highlander, Stingray, Raptor, Sniper, Hive, Phoenix, Adobe. And make sure that we have all of those situated in our bag and then go to the win calculator. Of course, this is the guide for Ultimate Golf, which you can find in the Play stores that we'll be using as soon as you get to it. Free to download, free to use. You'll see it overlays once we set up pop-up mode on the Samsung devices. For Apple, you'd have to play simultaneously, not overlaying. Here you can see wind straight in the face off the tee. Just going to go ahead and blast this down here. Do be a little bit cautious on your great balls, so you'll want to spend a little bit of extra time, make sure that you're not pulling the ball. Highlander, not the greatest accuracy club. Typically what you want to do is you want to try to get it up the wedge range. So let's see if we did that effectively. I know it's tough to do. It looks like we just missed it. So power pin, if you want to get up to that range, will make this shot just a little bit easier. We're going to try sniper at min because that's basically what the default shows. Sniper at min, right around 2 rings, maybe just a hair less. That was really weird. Why'd that, I don't know where that spot was. But what we're going to do is just kind of position this right towards the hole. And then we'll go right around maybe 1-9 rings, give or take. And, if you guys want to practice and use those pins, use those replays, you could alternatively just kind of rush through and just kind of see how your alignment is and then kind of go from there. That looked like a spot on adjustment. We're just missing a little bit too much guide. So 2 ways that we can kind of increase the likelihood to make that if you are at sniper is you could use a backspin pin. Would be one way. The other is you're going to have to just position that ball guide shorter, make it a little bit tougher to roll in. But with 5 or 6 backspin there, it's going to be easy to give that one a good run. As you can see with my adjustment, I slammed the pin, but I just slammed it, which is not necessarily what we want to do. It's just what ends up happening. And I'm going to just kind of gently play this over to the right hand of the fairway. And then we'll just blast this up as far as possible, see what we got. You may want to avoid playing with a lot of sniper. So potentially laying back is something that's maybe beneficial on some of these holes. Of course, for these par 5s, we should be well without range. Let's see what Raptor looks like. I've not used this very much. So first thing I'm going to do is go 10. I'm just counting my span. 20. 22. Maybe. 21. 21 rings. So let's go to this club. We'll create a span of 21 rings. Somewhere very close to 21. And then 3-8. We are going to size this up and say this is 5, 6 for max, 7 for max, somewhere in there. 6 or 7 for max, maybe 1 right spin. I think this breaks just a touch to the left, but I could be wrong. So what was this? 6 for max maybe? So if we just position this, 5.5 rings. 5.5 rings. We're going to zoom in here, try to get below this tree here, as you can see. And 5.5 rings will go. I'm just going to kind of rough aim this. You guys can try to dial this in a little bit more precisely if you would like. And here you can see it's coming in. Looks pretty good. Oh, so it actually doesn't look like it does. You know, I thought it was going to maybe break the other direction. It looks like, you know, it landed pretty spot on where I was. It was just to the right of the hole. You know, the biggest thing that I did is I put that right spin on. Doesn't need it. It looks like it's straight at best. Maybe even breaks a tad bit to the right. So that spin that I put on there was probably the biggest hurdle. So almost no spin there. Maybe even just a touch of left. But probably no is probably what you'll want to do there. We are going to try to blast this one up. Probably try to curl it as much as possible. Try to keep it in the fairway if we can. Also watch those great balls. I think my timing there was good. It looks like it was because we're in the center of the fairway. But if you're just a little bit off on that timing, you can get yourself in a heap of trouble with great balls. I do believe that I actually have this club specifically, or maybe not. Oh, you know what I used to use? I used to use one of the hips was pretty close for this. I forget which one. Let's try hip 5, see what it looks like. I forget, one of these is pretty accurate to the span. Just forget. This is not bad. This is pretty close. As you can see, it's almost spot up, percent for percent. So with that being said, whatever we see on the one, and this is looking 82, 83 in this case, somewhere in there. So maybe we'll try that, 83%. You also see that I keep the ball guide short intentionally, because it's going to stretch out just a little bit. So 83%, 375. So 375 with this adjustment. So it looks like it's coming in pretty good. Oh, just stops on the front. So just kept that ball guide just a little bit too short. But as you can see, a very good opportunity there. You should be able to get that one to roll in for sure. So do the best that you can. You know, utilize some of that practice if needed to get dialed in there. You can see a nice par 5. We're going to blast this down kind of as far as possible. With the tailwind makes this hole just a tad bit easier. Being able to get this down here as far as possible. This is the sniper range. So again, you know, especially with this wind direction, 5 rings, 10 rings, 15 rings, 20 rings, 24, 23, 24 rings. Probably not the most effective club to use. 24 rings we were saying, 23, somewhere in there. So we'll set that up. And other than that, we want to know how far are we from max. And front of the green is going to be about 8 for max. It looks like since we didn't put a pin, you may want to put a pin. It's going to be close. Landing on the front here, this might roll out too much. And this was what, about 8 for max, give or take? 2.5 rings. Keep in mind you're gonna need to land this on the green. Otherwise it's gonna definitely jump forward a bit. So let's see if we can do this correctly. If this doesn't stop well, it looks like it's not too bad. That's not too bad. So we could land a little bit more on the front of the green. Just make sure, like I mentioned, that you do hit the front of the green, and you should still be able to stop that sniper. So a good opportunity to be able to hold that. Even with the sniper, you just got to land right on the front, and you should be able to roll that out effectively and still stop it, which is good. Little tight pin here, and you can see a little bit in between clubs as well. Maybe a potential chance here for some kind of power 7 ball. What the power 7 will do is it'll just set up, as you can see. We'll be able to set up kind of towards min. You can see this is what, about 8 miles per hour of wind. We'll do, we're going to have to switch balls, Pro DX ball, Pro D1 ball, sorry. Keep in mind this was pretty much min, so we'll just go this many rings. 12-4, let's see what that looks like. Give that a go. That looks good. And this is just a rough estimation. Keep that in mind. I'm not, playing as precise as some other players will. So if you really want to dial this one in, that's going to be the best way. But you can see right on around 12-4, 12-5, just like the ring app tells you. Going to be a good opportunity for you guys to grab this one. Nice wind angle, even with the Pro D1 ball. So utilizing that power 7, the alternative is you use a power 10 and you'll have to use a backspin pin because it won't stop fast enough otherwise. So, but if you do want to increase the likelihood that you can make it, that's probably a really good way to go about doing it. And this is a good opportunity potentially to get aggressive. I'm thinking this might even be too much. So if it is in fact too much, a good way to do it would be some kind of Mojave, for example. You may want to use some kind of power shot, maybe top spin boost, something to that effect. I'm going to try maybe a top spin boost. Just I can't tell if this is going to come up short, but I think it might. But I'm not 100% sure. So let's do, first off, we're going to overpull whatever the ring app tells us. It's because we're doing a top spin shot. So I'm going to go about 7 rings as opposed to what it's telling me 625. And that's because we're utilizing top spin here. And I am just going to tweak this just a little bit more. Give ourselves just a little bit extra. So come into top spin, for example. See if we can't just crank it up. We'll do max top spin, which is about 20 extra. Looks like we got our ultimate. Let's just see what this looks like. And if it does roll out too far, maybe we didn't need it. But my goal was to get this up here, hopefully to the green. And it looks like with max top spin, it is just about right. Maybe comes up just a hair bit short. So utilizing something like a power, like a 1% power boost or something. Because what you're going to want is to make sure that the ball doesn't come up short. And utilizing like a practice attempt, for example, it's going to be a good way to dial that one in. And who knows, maybe if you luck into an ace, it'd be a great way to boost your scorecard. So do keep that in mind. Best of luck on that one. And let's keep rolling along here. This pin isn't too tucked, so I'll just blast it up to sniper range. If you're not too fond of sniper, you'll just have to lay back. Either or, you know, there's multiple ways to go about grabbing this one. Oh, it looks like we got the hive. So we just made it to hive range. Not by much though. So again, you know, a top spin boost or something to get you to this hive wedge to where you could actually utilize this backspin. I'm not going to be able to utilize the backspin. As you can see, my ball guide's a little bit short. And we got to make sure that we get this to the hole. So I'm going to use maybe 1 bar of backspin, and then we'll just use the max number. 4-0 max number. And keep in mind, we may go extra because we're not utilizing backspin here. So 5.25, probably not going to be enough. So I'm going to go almost 5 3/4. Just a little bit extra because we're not doing the backspin shot. And all in all, looks good. Just comes up a little bit short. So I should have just kept that. If I would have kept that backspin off entirely, that might have rolled straight in. That was right on line. It was taking the break very nicely. Exactly what we wanted to do, other than stop it. So a good opportunity there, especially if you can just kind of keep that in between distance that I got myself lost in. Very good opportunity there. So, and this is going to be a very nice opportunity as well, it looks like. So we utilize this for backspin. You want to, in shots like this, you'll want to kind of measure and just see kind of how far you are. From the pin. We're probably somewhere around here. We're going to go 6 rings for this adjustment. Of course, you saw I put the backspin, and you can see I'm maybe 5.3-ish rings from this pin or something. And let's just see what that looks like. We'll almost go the full 6 here, just a little bit light. 5.9 some. Let's just see what this looks like. Looking good. Oh, just a hair too much. Just, you know, and I kind of definitely think I went just a little bit heavy on 5.87 there. So maybe just holding that true value. You know, in that case, 5.8. Good chance to make that one. Also, I'm not entirely sure that I would have been able to roll that one in or not. Because of the way that I played the break, it seemed a little bit off. So here again, we're probably going to want to go with something a little bit more aggressive. And I'm thinking Mojave could be a good opportunity. This one, I'm thinking, just by the looks of it, that it might get there. I could be wrong. No power boost. About 6 rings short, give or take. Let's hope that great ball doesn't come into play. Ah, it did. Crap. So you're not going to even get to see a good attempt here. I should have hesitated. But that's what you can see happens if you just lose focus a little bit. I guarantee this is getting there. So utilizing a practice attempt or two, it's going to be a good way for you to dial this one in. However, if you do make a mistake like me, this could be useful just to be able to see what needs to be done to make this shot fall. So I think we can still grab this one. So with that being said, you know, never freak out per se. And this looks like uphill, an uphill 48% or something. And when it's uphill like this, you always have to go a little bit more. So when I dial in 48% on this, it's not going to be enough rings. So I can already tell you. And typically how much extra do I go? It's usually between 2 and 5%. So so instead of 4, we're going to go 415. So just to show you that disparity difference. So let's try this, see what it looks like, see if we can't get this. Also, we are missing a lot of guide, so that could be a reason to miss, but however, we did roll it in. We just kind of hit it right into the center of the stick. Came in just a tad bit hot, but still able to get that drop. So even with the mistake, doesn't cost us. So, you know, keep that kind of stuff in mind. But ultimately, you're going to want to try to get on that green. I'm going to split this up into 2 guides so the video doesn't go too long. Best of luck on that front 9, guys, and I'll see you coming up here momentarily on the back.